Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of Fast Break Bets presented by Betting Pros. You know me, you know the voice of the guys. Me, really real, villain real, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Sorry, I could not find the sound effect to save my life. So honestly, if you want to know where I got that from, first of all, I can't think of where I got the here I am at your service part, but I know that I started holding it out. This is just a peek behind the curtain. I'm breaking the fourth wall for you. I started holding it out because I have to scroll to find my drop in the drop list. And my memory is horrible. So I always forget where the drop is in the drop list and I have to scroll and try to find it. And so I started holding it out to buy time so that I could find the drop. And that's what I just had to do just now because I couldn't find the drop to save my life. And so I was holding it out longer and longer and longer trying to buy time. But that's how that ended up starting, that portion of it. Oh man. All right. So we had a good day. Thank you. Finally, 3 bets in a row that have hit. That feels really, really good after the horrible week that we had last week. It feels really, really good. In fact, I deserve another sound drop. Because we did very, 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 very good on the last show here. Really excited. I'm here in Vegas. As you see, the different background going on here. I'm here in Vegas for our Fantasy Pros conference, and I'm having a ball. Just came from a social event, and I got to meet everybody on the Fantasy Pros, Betting Pros team for the first time, actually. On that side of the ball, meeting a lot of the people in person. We've seen us over doing shows and I've talked to people via online and all of that, but it feels really, really good to be able to meet everybody in person. They're amazing. And I just love working here. And, it's just such a great company. And I really appreciate them for giving me this opportunity to be able to just sit here and do what I do. Like, do what I do, have fun, talk about basketball. Like that's it. And I'm really, really happy that I'm getting the opportunity to live out my dream working with Fantasy Pros. And so I just came from our social hour. We had a great time. You might hear about it maybe from other shows on the network and talk about how great of a time it was, but really, really good to be able to hear from, to be able to meet up and link up with all the Fantasy Pros, Betting Pros folks. If you saw a tweet that I put out there, just know it was a part of the initiation in the Betting Pros for me. So I didn't mean it. And I'm sure some of the people in the Fantasy Pros, Betting Pros network, Deep Bro, are going to share a screenshot and never let me live this down. I promise you, I didn't mean it. I was forced. I was coerced. There was a gun to my head, and I had to make the tweet. And the tweet has since then been deleted. So if you didn't see it, you didn't see it. But I promise you, you're probably going to see it if you follow a lot of people on the network because D-Bro is never going to let me live this down. Like, ever going to let me live this down. So, all right, let's talk about it. I told you we had a good day. Let's tell you about the good day that I had because we went 2-0 on the day. Cavs laying 8.5 was never in doubt. It went exactly how I thought. And I said, Minnesota's not going to be able to score. Like, that defense is going to be really, really good. I think they had 16 points in the first quarter. I'm almost positive that was the final. Let me go back and look because I was watching and I was like, oh man, they can't even score. Like, what is it? Yeah, oh, it was 12. It was 30-12 was the first quarter score, 30-12. And they ended up finishing with 107. That was generous with a 29 and a 34-point quarter in the second half. But like at that point, the game was over. The Cavaliers had pulled away and they were just letting them do whatever. So very, very good there. Anthony Edwards finished with 44 points. Like I said Ant might have a day, but nobody else will. Ant had 44 points. The rest of the team didn't help out at all. The rest of the team had 63 points. They couldn't get it done. Cavaliers win 128, 127. 128 to 107. And then Chris Paul over 6.5 assists. That was just a misprice. I don't know why they priced him at 6.5. They just chose to lose money, and that's fine because we were able to capitalize on it. Chris Paul finishes with 9 assists against that game against the Washington Wizards. All right, let's get to it. Let's talk about what we have going on for a Tuesday. I have two bets for you. I will. So I didn't drop a social media play today because I was traveling, and I'm not gonna lie. After traveling all day, I was really, really tired. I didn't end up getting it going, and we had conference going on and all of that. So I'll make sure to drop a social media play. I'll get with our social media team. We'll get it out, and we'll drop a social media play for a Tuesday. So that will add an extra play, and I'll probably drop some college basketball bets. But I'm only going to drop those college basketball bets in the Discord because we do not have our college basketball live stream tomorrow. So make sure you get a part of that Betting Pros Discord. Come join that Discord, bettingpros.com/chat to join that Discord. And you can get in there and get extra plays from me. I drop them all the time over there in the chat. And you can just have a whole bunch of good banter. Like, it's just a really, really good community of a lot of smart people in betting that are able to go out there and, hey, I like this, I like that, all of that. You can connect and all of that network, all of that. So go tap into the Betting Pros Discord, bettingpros.com/chat to get into that Discord right there, bettingpros.com/chat. All right, let's get into two plays that I want to give you on a Tuesday in fast break bets. We're going to start off with, first of all, the time difference is really, really kicking my butt. I'm not even going to lie. 3 hour time difference is a lot. I was looking and I was like, why do all these games start so early? And then I realized, oh, wait, no, they don't start early. I'm just on the West Coast for a couple of days. So here we go. Detroit Pistons on the road going to play the Chicago Bulls. Bulls catching 4.5 at home. 238.5 is the total here. And that's where I'm going. I'm going to the total. Give me over 238.5 in this game. This has been a horrible stretch of games. Chicago, we talked about Chicago's defense being bad overall, but the trade deadline just didn't help them at all. It wasn't like they got better defensively. I don't think they got better defensively. They've been about the same as par in terms of defense. And I think that that's going to come back to bite them in this game over the last 5 games. Matter of fact, this is the full season. For the full season, they're giving up 120.1 points per game. That is 29 of 30 teams in the NBA. They're 29th of 30 teams in terms of the full season over their what's the word I'm looking for? Defense. They're giving up 120 points per game. That is 29 of 30 teams. Now, look at the last 5 games. They move up to 22, but they're giving up more points. They're giving up 121.2 points per game over those last 5 games. It's been really, really bad. In fact, if you want to hear the actual numbers, it hasn't been good at all for the Chicago Bulls. Gave up 132 to the Warriors, gave up 127 to Minnesota, who we just bet because they can't score. And they gave up 127 to Minnesota. They gave up 124 in a win against Miami. They gave up 127 to Detroit, and we're talking about Detroit now. They just gave up 127 to them, and they had a good game. Finally, gave up only 106 to Toronto, but it's been really bad the last 4 games for Chicago. They've given up north of 120 points in the last 4 games. Detroit, however, on the other side, has been really, really good scoring basketball. They've scored over 125 in 3 of the last 5 games. They've been up and down defensively, but I think that this type of game with this type of pace, you look at these two teams and they are both top 10 in pace. The Bulls are 10th and the Pistons are 8th in the last 10, and in the last 5 games. I think this is a really, really good spot for this to be a really quick up pace tempo type of game. The Bulls, horrible offensive rebounding team. And that's where the Pistons kind of thrive. They're 5th in offensive rebounding over the last 5 games. So I think that we're going to see extra possessions here for the Pistons. They're going to be able to score. In fact, the Pistons are scoring 123 points per game in the last 5 games. Like, they're really, really locked in on offense. And I think this is an opportunity where we can back the over. So I like the over 238.5 here. I think we have a bad defensive team against the Bulls. Pistons team that's actually doing worse defensively that they've done at any point in the season, they have really, really struggled defensively and fallen to about the bottom third defensively in the last 5 games. So I think this is the aspect where the Bulls are kind of desperate. This Bulls team made a lot of trades at the deadline, sent Zach LaVine out the door, and now they're trying to find out, who is this new team led by Kobe White? Who is this new team led by Nikola Vucevic? Who is this new team led by Josh Giddey? And can they keep the scoring up and keep the scoring going? And I think that they have not committed at all to the defensive side of the ball. And I think this is a great opportunity for the Pistons to continue what they're doing in the red hot offense that they have going. But I think the Bulls are going to have something to say. I don't think that they're going to go away in this game easily. I was a little bit nervous to take the plus 4.5 here with the Bulls, but I do like them to be able to score. I think they'll do their part of the scoring, and the Bulls defense has been so bad that I know the Pistons are going to do their part of the scoring. So I'm going with over 238.5 in this game. That is play number 1. Play number 2. Going to the prop bet cheat sheet where we have a 5-star bet rating on my guy. I love to bet 12. We got a 5-star bet rating on 12 here today. He is currently sitting at 6.5 assists. The Betting Pros prop bet cheat sheet has him projected for 8.2 assists today, 71% cover probability, 5-star bet rating, and he's been over this line in 20 of 31 this season. Very, very good on over the course of the entire season. But even more so recently, he's been over in 8 of his last 15 games, including what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the last 8. He's gone over this line. And so I got this line out here in Vegas. So glad to be out in Vegas, by the way. I got this line at minus 130. Paid a little bit of juice. I understand that as I look at the betting landscape overall, this line is going to 7.5. I'm telling you right now, if it's not at 7.5 by the time you get it, it's probably going to be in 7.5 in the morning time on the East Coast tomorrow. I'm almost positive this line is going up because I think 6.5 is way too low. It's very, very similar to the Chris Paul play that we played yesterday, where I think that the books are just not paying attention. There's no reason this line should be 6.5. However, Chris Paul finished with 9. I think that John Morant can finish with 9 and potentially get himself into a double-double range. So I will give this out at 7.5 at plus money because I know that's where it's at right now, and I think that's where it's going. And I think you still got a really, really good chance at 7.5 here because John Morant has been so good helping run the offense, settle the offense down. We talked about Phoenix, and we actually faded Phoenix over the weekend in terms of defense. Their defense has not been locked in at all whatsoever. And I think this is an opportunity where, hey, we all know what 12 can do. We all know 12 can get to the rim and slash and get to the basket and be able to really, really disrupt defenses. And that's going to open things up for everybody else around Memphis. And I think that his passing and his playmaking is really one of his underrated aspects of his game. Everybody talks about the dongs, the flash plays, him being able to get to the rim and score, but his passing is really, really a big part of his game. And so I think this is a really, really good game for 12. I think he finishes with 9, 10 assists here. I probably will be sprinkling on the double-double for 12 in this game because I think we're going to see a lot of points. The total is sitting at 244, so they're expecting a lot of points, and I still think it goes over the total. I ended up not giving it out because it kind of jumped on me. I was about to sit here and give it out at 242.5, and then it jumped to 244 immediately. So I pivoted. I'm going with John Morant. I like John Morant to go over 6.5 assists. I'm calling it 7.5, so let me scratch that. Oh, John Morant over 7.5 assists. That is play number 2. And so there are your 2 plays in fast break bets for today. I'm giving you John Morant over 7.5 assists, and I'm giving you the Bulls and Pistons to go over 238.5 here. Hopefully we get another 2-0 sweep day and we start to really, really dig into that hole that we dug ourselves into last week. So looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to another good week with the Betting Pros family here over here, enjoying a very, very good work trip with them. And hopefully that amounts to a lot of bet hits. So I will be sharing extra college basketball plays in the Discord. Make sure you get into the Discord, bettingpros.com/chat. I will share an additional NBA player prop as well via socials tomorrow. And then what else? yeah, I think that's really it. Make sure you give me a follow at really real __. Make sure you give us a follow on Betting Pros at Betting Pros on X and TikTok, at Betting Pros NFL on Instagram and YouTube.com/Betting Pros. And make sure you give me a like, a comment, a subscribe, all of that, and have a chance to enter the contest this week. It's only this week that we are giving away an Alonzo Mourning signed jersey. We're only giving away this week. So you have until Friday to get into that contest. Make sure you go ahead and drop a comment right now. Just go ahead and do it right now so you don't have to waste time. And you will have a chance to win that Alonzo Mourning signed jersey. So with that, that's it. I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just going to end it like this. We are out of here.